Right, so I wanted to do a video to talk about designing a pipe clip in Design Spark Mechanical. So I'll just start with a new file, or new design. Then I'll just make the sketch plane plan view so that you can see it above. And I want to make a pipe clip for 14mm OD pipe, which I've just been using in a project of mine, and I didn't have time to design anything for it. So I'm just going to create a circle, just using the circle tool here from the top with a center start for it, and I'm just going to, it's 14mm OD pipe, so I'm going to say 14.5 here. I'm not going to be printing this on the K9 printer because I'm going to be using PETG for this, so I'm going to be using my CR10 for this. I'm going to be using PETG. So I've created a circle that's 14.5 millimeters. There we are, and I'm going to just use this tool here, which kind of copies, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but it kind of copies the shape by creating another line outside it, or inside it, which is the same, which is like a kind of parallel line. So this is a very useful tool here in the sketch mode, and you just click the line you want, and then you can drag it out to whatever you want. So like we said before, before I went with 5mm, but because this is now PETG, I'm going to have 3mm. That's that. So that's the outer ring of the shape. I'm going to go with the line tool and going to go on the outside edge here and then do a line down, and then I could probably do, actually, yeah, so we don't really want that, so let's escape that. Just going to go back, Control Z on the Windows keyboard. We don't really need it right down to the bottom here because it's going to try and pinch the pipe very slightly, so that it keeps it in the clip. So what we want is really a line to the bottom of the inside diameter. So I'm just going to do a line there and then going to bring it back. It didn't really work. I'm going to escape that and control. I made that line at a bit of an angle, you can see that. It's just Control Z on that one again. So what I want to do is to go down to the bottom of the inner circle, and I want that to be 0 degrees. I'm just going to make it like that. To go out on the other side. I'm going to escape that so I can get out of the tool. And I'm going to make my vertical line here 90 degrees, and again this side from the centre of the outside of the circle 90 degrees to that line which we just created before. It's going to trim away anything we don't need then. I might need to recreate those later. Let's just do that, and then from the inside of the inner circle here, straight down 90 degrees to the bottom line, then again 90 degrees to the bottom line, and then again trim away areas that we don't need using the trim away tool here, and do need that, we don't need that one or that one. or that one, or that one, or that one, or this one, or that one, or this one. So I've made my hoop for the pipe clip, and it's 14.5 millimeters. I'm going to make the flange for the fixings flange. I'm going to really want to do. Actually, I should have started from the other. So let's just go back. Let's start at the bottom. Just so that so we got 2.25 millimeters already. Want I think I'm just going to go with what's been chosen here. I think it's just snap to grid, so I'm just going to choose 3.25 and 10.75 because it's just snap to grid, and it's not really that important what size it is really. 3.25 and 9.75, 10.75, yeah, and 3.25. Yeah, that's okay. So now I'm going to go and make these little flanges, which you can use to attach it to the whatever surface you're trying to fit your pipe to, whatever it is you're trying to clip to. Well, I suppose you could use these for wires as well. So now I'm just going to remove those little lines that are not needed. This one here. Very often you might have drawn the lines twice, so you might have to just click on there twice to get rid of them completely. So now I've created the overall shape. I'm going to pull it out into 3 dimensions. When you click the pull tool, it goes back into the 3-dimensional mode. So I'm just going to click on that, and then just what I normally do is just rotate the model like this, or the design, so you can just get onto that little yellow arrow and then go back into the pull tool. And I'm going to make that to be economical, you could make it 10 millimeters. I think I might make it 15. Let's make it a little bit larger. I'm just going to click on the model just to click on the background just to firm up the change which has been done. What you could do is then save it at this point as well. I mean, I should have saved it before perhaps. Anyway, let's do save or save as. Just going to do 14 millimeter OD pipe clip. Okay, save. Just spin this back round. Actually, what I might do to bring it round, that I'm going to select that face and then do plan view, because that will then automatically move it into the right orientation for you. So there we are. You can see I'm just going to quickly measure this, because we wanted 14.5. Obviously it's now 14.7, which might mean that it doesn't clip it properly. It doesn't pinch it. I want to pinch it a little bit, so I think I might try and reduce that a bit. So what I'm going to do is just going to escape that, and then I'm going to spin it round, and we want to take off 14.5. What I might do is to take off the whole of the 0.5 aspect, so it was I can't see now. let's just put it back to the plan view again, and no, do that, and then make that line. It's 14, but it is 14.5 actually. Yeah, because I did it to the internal one. So what I'm going to do is simply take the 0.5 off, and then it'll basically be a tight fit on the lower edge, rather than, it's not a tight fit all the way around, but it'll be a tight fit on the lower edge. So that should help to pinch. I don't need to pinch the pipe very much, because it's not hanging or anything like that. It's flat on the surface. It's just to locate the pipe really. But I just want a slight pinch. So I'm going to take that 0.5 off. I'm just going to spin again and change the orientation of the model, and then I'm going to select those two surfaces here and here, control and click to select another surface if you want to add it and change it at the same time. So now I'm just going to use the pull tool, just click and move back. I'm going to go back 0.5 of a millimetre, so it let's just check what's happened there. Let's click on the background again to firm up the change, and I'll just go and select that, and then do plan view again to bring that view up, and then just check that again with the line tool to see where it's at. No, it's not. It's going snap to. What I might do is just do this, and then do that there. So now we've taken off that 0.5 of a millimetre, you can see. And I'll just escape that, lose that line, and then just trim that line away that will be created there. This one here. Right, that's good. So that's what I want now in terms of the pinching of the pipe in the vertical. It will just be a slight pinch. So we've got our shape there, you can see. I'm just going to select, actually no I'm not, I'm going to have to go into the 3D mode again, and then select that face there, and then go into plan view so that I can draw some lines for do you see it's truncated the model automatically. Actually it might not be necessary to do that. There's a little roundel in the middle. I've noticed this before when I've gone ahead and done that sometimes when you do that it'll produce a kind of a central dot there, so you might not even have to do that, which is really very useful, because with most softwares I've ever had to use, you'd have to, create a kind of central point by drawing lines between 2 points. So let's do that. We've done that, so I'll fix that, and I want to come across here. Maybe we need to go into the 3-dimensional view again. That's it. Now I want to come across and select that. What we'll do is we'll select it and see if that little roundel appears in the centre of it again. I'll go into plan view again and into sketch mode. So what we really need to do is choose the tool, and yes, it's appeared there again. So that's very useful, because it means that you don't have to worry about drawing any lines to choose a central location for a hole. That's a very useful thing, very, very useful indeed. That's another reason why I like Design Spark Mechanical, because there's so many useful things in it like that, very time-saving things that even on very, very expensive software don't exist. And this is absolutely fantastic for things like that, clever little ideas that someone's thought to do, I don't know the team behind it, or I'm not anything to do with them in any way, shape or form, but they obviously are really clever chaps and girls, behind this, clever people behind this program. So now I'm going to go into 3D mode again, and then we can spin that, and then we can select those again to pull them. We can actually just use the pull tool, click on the pull tool, and then we can select those two areas. It's going to do click, one single click on the trackpad, and then control and click to click the second one as well. And then I'm going to reduce those. I usually don't, as I say, I don't worry too much as long as it's gone right through, and you can see that it's gone right through because you can see the other side through the hole. So I wouldn't worry too much about the length of those holes, just as long as they go right through. Now I want to do is just to put a chamfer in those holes for a countersunk screw. As I'm going to be using wood screws on these, so I'm just going to use the pull tool again, and just in this case now, just select the edge of the hole, and again likewise control and click. Now we're going to make sure that the option down in the left hand corner here, we're going to choose chamfer, and then we're going to pull that. I usually pull it by 2mm for a 4mm hole. I'm going to say 2mm on that one, and that's it. So we've now got our countersunk hole. I'm just going to click on the background again to fix it. And then what I normally like to do when I make a pipe clip is just to round off these edges here. Normally when you click the pull tool I'm going to just move it so it's a little bit easier to see. No. There we go. That's it. Yeah. Now it's really easy to see those edges. I'm just going to select the edges here and here and here, just to give them a tiny fillet. I'm going to say 1mm. Doesn't need to be very much, just in case the edges of the clip are a bit rough, and if there's any movement maybe over many years it might wear away the edge of the pipe and cause a leak. So I'm just going to do the same on the other side. Just going to click that edge and then control and click for that edge, control and click for that edge. I'm going to I'm going to say 1mm again, just type that and then press enter, and then I've got our 1mm fillet just to round off the edges to make it a little kinder on the pipe. What I will do sometimes, actually, it's not really necessary of course, but you can just add a fillet to the actual square edges of the flange area as well. I'm just going to do that. My computer's now starting to lose battery power, so I'm going to go here as quickly as I can to do this. Alright, I chose pull is already chosen, but I just need to click on the background just to change. I'll just press enter. I'm going to choose select. Yeah, just choose select and then click on the background. Sometimes these things don't always work, but I may be doing it in the wrong order. And forgive me if I'm doing it in the wrong order, but I'm just trying to help people to make these tasks easier. Right, okay. So I'm now going to do a fillet on those corners there. there's material we don't need to have, and it's all material which I'm just going to do click and collect. I'm just going to do click and to select there, control and click to select that corner. Every time you select more than one, you have to do control and click. I'm just going to spin it round to see if we can do all of these corners all at the same time, which might save a bit of go back into the pool tool. You can see they're still selected, but you can see that they've got the yellow highlighting on them. So I'm just going to do control and click again on that far corner, and then I think we might be able to just do it because you can see the yellow arrow actually through the model, so I might be able to do it from here. Oh yes we can. So I'm going to do that, completely round it off, because it's all that material is just wasted material, so you're going to end up using your filament to no effect. So I think I'm going to say that's finished now. I'm just going to click on the background. I'm not sure if no. So select and then click on the background. So now that shape is finalised. I'm just going to save it again and save. And then I'm going to just do save as, again, to save it as an STL file, because when you do save, normally you're saving it in the RSDOX format, which is the kind of format you'd use to save the file to open again and edit. But we need to save it as an STL so I can put it into our slicer. So I'm going to save that now. Right. Yeah. I should really have checked this before saving it to make sure there was only one entry here, because if there's more entries it can cause problems. Like I said before, you need to choose the one that's pertinent to the shape. If there's any other bits and pieces like surfaces and that kind of thing, you really need to click off those before you, or delete them before you go and save it as an STL. But here we're okay. So now I'll do is just close this down and go into the slicer. Here I'm going to be using Super Slicer, because that's the one that I use for my CR10. I've got different slicing programs for different printers. So just it's not necessary, but it's just for the sake of ease, because I've got the individual settings in these, and I'm sure you can do it by clicking. But the only problem I found with that is that you very often get one printer's settings on another thing. So I just think it's easier to have an instance of a program. So I generally use Process Slicer for the N3, Super Slicer for the CR10, and Cura for the Easy3D K9 printer. But as we said, I'm not going to be using that today because I need to do this quickly, and I need to use the CR10 because I have PETG on that. I'm going to just import the file. This is pretty much the same as Process Slicer. From that point of view, it's got the same. So if you're already used to Process Slicer, then you'll easily be able to use Super Slicer. So I'm just going to import STL, and then we've got that pops up what we've just done straight away, and open it, and yeah, we've got it. I don't think I'm going to print it in that orientation. I'm just going to this tool, print on face, just click that, because a circle shouldn't need any support material, so if it should print that with no problems at all. There might be a bit of stringing, but I'm not bothered about that. So what I might do is, because I think I probably need about 4 of those, I'm going to just do plus to generate more copies of that. Just need to do the shift and then the plus button. In my case, on my keyboard it's a shift and plus because I have a laptop keyboard and it doesn't have an actual plus button on it. So, and then you just need to do the letter A on the keyboard just to arrange the instances of the print in a print, in a way it's easy for the printer to print, and that's such a useful tool again. The same kind of thing with Design Spark. All these useful little things like just being able to increase the number by the plus button, and then when you want to arrange them you have to press one key only, and it's all done and dusted. Now I've got all my settings in here already. I don't think I'm going to go into that this time because it's basically about the Design Spark part of it. I'm just going to slice now with my my settings, and it's done that very quickly. There's nothing really needs to be changed about it. As you can see, it's printing them solid, so that's no problem. So yeah, I just want to have a quick look at the layer height. Actually, my computer's rapidly going flat, so oh yeah, 0.28. Well, I might change that because I might go for optimal simply because it's a round shape. Now I'll have to reslice them now. Alright, okay, that's done it. I think it's made these steps a little bit more even for a shape like this, where a bit more strength is needed, and we've got a total time of 1 hour 6 minutes, as you can see. Anyway, I'll put a card into the computer, just one that I randomly picked up. Let's just there's a G-code in there, so I'm just going to put that in one of these other directories here. Oh, just gonna, yeah, put that in one of these other directories. There we are. So there's no other G-code files on there. So and then okay. So I'm going to export that out onto the SD card. Yeah. Right, that's done. And now I'm going to transfer it to the CR10, and then we'll come back to it when it's printed. Right, this is my printer, my CR10, and I'm actually sorry about those biscuits. I'm not allowed to eat those. So I'm just going to put my close my closure up. It might sort of produce your it'll help my printer to heat up. This is my enclosure for my printer. It's a bit rough and ready, as with all my projects. And this is my enclosure. It's not like spiffy things like lots of people have. It's just a very basic thing made of foam board stuck together with duct tape, black duct tape, the heavy duty sort, and it's what I've been using for about 5 years now, and I don't have any reason to change it. It works. My heated bed's just heating up, and it's rising up to 70 degrees now. So I'm going to turn the printer on. Watch out for the noise, because it's not quiet. Right. Now it's running. There's only one file on that SD card that can be printed, so there's no errors going to be made with that. Now now the printer is heating up as well, so we'll just see it starting. This is Super Slicer, remember, so the actions you see it doing will be things that have been set up by Super Slicer. See, it's a bit restricted by the cover that I use to cover over the front of the printer. I can only apologise for that, but it's just to keep the heat in. So I sometimes print ABS on this, so that's the reason why I have an enclosure. But it also keeps dust off the print bed as well. As I say, I have my heated bed controlled from a separate controller. It's a mains heated bed, and it's now approaching 87 degrees. I have a little controller to actually run it up to 100 degrees and keep it there. Now I'll come back to you again when I collect the prints and we can have a look at how they turned out. Now this is the finished print. It's not actually after 1 hour and 6 minutes was actually the time of the print, but actually 1 month 1 hour and 6 minutes, because I actually had a few problems with my printer, which I'd had for about 6 months before, but I didn't know what the reason was. And I've actually replaced the extruder mechanism, which you can see here. I'll just move the camera up, and actually I can't do it, but where are we? There we are. Yeah. It's not really possible to see it too well. I can't move the camera any closer than that, but you can see the extruder mechanism as the red extruder mechanism, the top part of the extruder. Now I say I've been having problems with this printer for about 6 months, and I fixed everything. I tried fixing the hot end. I fixed the hot end about 3 or 4 times, and then I would do a print and it would work for one print, and then it would start going wrong again. Mostly what happened was that the printer would get to a certain level in the print, maybe about 1 centimetre off the bed, and then it would stop, and I'd come to it and the nozzle would be blocked or something like that. So as I say, I did lots of things. I changed the hot end about 3 or 4 times, and it would work for a little while and stop working again. And as I say, it would always block. The nozzle would block about 1 centimetre up from the print. Sometimes it was always roughly 1 centimetre, I think. And I just couldn't work out what it was. I thought it could have been all sorts of things, like the board was broken, or the wiring was broken, or this, that and the other. I changed the stepper motor on the extruder, and it wasn't until I thought about it again and thought about what common problems these printers have. And one of the common problems with the plastic extruder mechanism on the top of the stepper motor is that the actual arm breaks at the pivot point. And yeah, it was like something I hadn't thought of. I'd taken I'd taken it apart several times, and I didn't see any obvious crack. Yeah, this is the original mechanism from the top of the extruder. It's plastic, ABS plastic. I don't think it's not 3D printed, it's ABS plastic. And this is the actual extruder arm here. And as you can see at first sight, there's no sign of a crack at all. You wouldn't know it. And those people who've actually got black plastic might struggle even more, because obviously a crack will be black on black, so you might even not be able to see it then. But what I'm going to do is to see if I can shove something in the crack. I'm not sure if I'll even make it. Yeah, it's cracked. You can see that there's a hairline crack in where the insert. Oh, you can see it more clearly from this side. Maybe I can shove something small in there so you can see it a bit better. And now you can actually see that crack. It goes right through that bushing there, which is actually where the idler wheel goes, or the pressing wheel. I'm not sure what the technical term for it, but that's where it goes through. And you can see it's cracked there. It goes right back there, and that must have been what was causing the problems, because since I changed it I haven't had any problems more. It's printed these things, and it's printed other things. I had a long print on here. I had a print that was lasting 16 hours, which is very rare for me. But you can see here the crack, and I'm not sure whether it will just go back now I put that pin in it, but let's see what happens if I take the pin out. It's not so visible anymore, but it's still more noticeable than it was before I put that in there. But as you can see, if you look at it at first sight, you won't notice anything. It hardly shows. But I had to look at it very carefully because I was at my wit's end to know what was wrong with it, really. And I knew in the back of my mind that these things do fail. But I've been using this printer for many years, and I didn't expect it, let's say that. So I've been using it for many years, and I didn't think it. And when you look at it at first sight, it doesn't look that there's anything wrong with it. But I imagine because this printer, this extruder mechanism, is exactly the same on the Ender 3, or at least on the Ender 3 Mark 1. So I imagine people have got the Ender 3 Mark 1 could look for similar problems, and it may or may not be the same cause. But always I would suggest, if you had a load of random problems, you can't work out what it is, like clogging and that kind of thing, unexplained clogging and that kind of thing, you could do worse than just look at this thing and see if it is cracked. And what you could do is actually just replace the whole thing to start with. Going back to my original print here, you can see that they've not printed out brilliantly, but they have printed out. And there's quite a lot of stringing on them, which I'm going to tidy up. Obviously the strung material is all meant to be in the model, so if it's strung, then you've got to cut it off, and it should be strength for the model, and it hasn't actually ended up in the model at all, but it's ended up in the air. So in the next stage with me normally is to I have very often, because I print in PETG a lot, I have to clean up the prints, and normally what I do is use a craft knife and some leather gloves and eye protection, which I think is actually the minimum that you should have, really. You need some good quality eye protection when you're cleaning these things up. And obviously you need a sharp knife, but you need to be able to protect your hands, and a stout pair of leather gloves and some good quality eye protection is absolutely essential when you do this kind of thing. So I'm just cleaning this up. I'm certainly going to do this off camera, and yeah, in a couple of minutes you can have them reasonable. Obviously when things move and they got little projections and things like that, they can over very many years cause the rubbing and then leakage of any pipes that you might have constrained by them. Certainly if you have any pipes in a moving vehicle and they're going to be rubbing, and the sort of the vibration from the vehicle is communicated to the pipework, and there's a kind of relative moving, then you might want to consider smoothing them off. Because I didn't use support material, there's a little bit of a sagging in the underneath part. That might not occur with PLA, because I think that with PLA you have the part fan on, and generally with PETG you don't have the part fan on, so it might sag a bit more. Okay, here's the finished article. You can see that they're not brilliant. It's not my best ever quality 3D printing. 3 of them printed out well enough to be functional, and the 4th one was kind of collapsed in the middle before it was finished, and I think that one's just simply not viable, so I didn't even bother to take the strings off that one. But the other 3 are perfectly viable. What I need to do is to finish them with a file to just smooth off the insides and just smooth off the outsides. You can see here with the one at the front, there's actually quite a bit missing out of the side there on a few layers. I think that's probably went into the stringing, because there was quite bad stringing on these ones. And although that bit is missing, it looks like it would be actually quite fragile there, but it's not fragile at all. It will be perfectly adequate for the usage. They're not the most attractive things. I do know with this printer that it doesn't really like printing multiple items, and generally speaking, when I do print more than one item at the same time, it will print very badly. But in this case, because I originally wanted them quickly, I'll just do 4 of them together and not worry too much about the quality. I will make the design available on the Lightstyle Leaf Tech Thingiverse page for anyone who wants to download them. Thanks for watching and see you again soon, I hope. Bye.